go right. You can go forward, but never ever back. Yeah, just woke up. I ain't wake up. Beautiful day. I ain't feeling your side.
I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? KCE, King Chaka.
King Chaka ENT. Y'all can check out the music on Spotify, Apple, and other services. Hey, how y'all doing out there? Can y'all hear me? Got a new setup, new situation. I don't know. Anyways, remember, an educated and united public cannot be controlled. Get organized. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Podemos ayudarnos más? Sí se puede. So, today, the name of the show is Solace in Tragedy. I'm concerned that y'all can't hear me. Okay, seems like we're good. Yeah, new setup, new spot. I don't know. I'm probably gonna stop using the green screen real soon. I'm gonna put a bookshelf in here and just have that in the background. Haven't got that far yet. Don't know how much I'm not feeling the green screen as much as I was before. And now with the new setup, my screen keeps freezing up. I don't know what the hell. I don't even know if I'm broadcasting clear to y'all. I need somebody to get in here so I can be sure. Solace in Tragedy. I wanted to talk a bit about the shooting, the recent school shooting. And we were texting back and forth in the group a little bit about it, but I was busy as hell this week. I was moving. I was moving from one place to another. I got a new spot. So that's the same reason why the setup is different and everything. But so tragedy, the meaning of tragedy is a disastrous event, calamity, misfortune, a serious drama typically describing a conflict between the protagonist and a superior force, such as destiny, and having a sorrowful or disastrous conclusion that elicits pity or terror. The literary genre of tragic dramas, a medieval narrative poem or tale typically describing the downfall of a great man, tragic quality or element. Let's go to Solace right quick. My screen is going really, really slow. I'm freezing up. It might be because of the Webster Dictionary screen trying to show ads. Am I coming through clear? Because I can't even see my screen now. Ugh, so irritating. All right, let me see. Am I freezing up? Because my screen is freezing up. Solace is to give comfort in grief or misfortune, console, to make cheerful, amuse, allay, soothe, solace grief, comfort in grief, alleviation of grief or anxiety, a source of relief or consolation. So, solace in tragedy. What it makes me think about is how when bad things happen, if people say things like, it's always been this way, or, there's nothing we can do about it, or they might say thoughts and prayers, you know, that's what I think about with solace and tragedy. It's weird to me. It's strange to me how these events that's completely preventable happen, and then we just kind of act like it's okay, like there's nothing you could do about it, or like the argument is really about the guns. I'm gonna wait for the guys to get in here to get into that part, but it's like solace in tragedy, like you're okay with it. It's like the cost of doing business. It's like, you know I'm okay. It's like, I'm thankful it wasn't one of my kids or whatever. Like, until it is one of your kids, and then you want to blow up, I don't know, the police department. Who do you attack after something like this happens? Like, what how do you react to it if it's one of your kids at the school and there was a school shooting and one of your kids gets hurt? How do you react to that? Is it the same reaction that you have when you see the school shootings happen and it's not your kid? you know and who do you get angry at? And how do you protect, like, let's say you have other kids, how do you protect them in the future? Will you be worried about it happening to again? I couldn't imagine how terrible it would be to have more than one child and have them killed separate in separate school shooting events. Like, oh my God, that would be terrible. I don't know. I apologize for being late. I'm really tired, man. I've been moving all week and I basically did it all by myself. I'm in now. I'm pretty mostly set up, and I like the way things are. There's a few little things I need to do, but for the most part, I'm pretty good to go. But I'm exhausted. I had a test in one of my classes. I got a paper due on Monday. So, and I didn't miss no classes, and I was moving this week, and I worked. So, this was a busy, busy week for me. So, I apologize for coming on late, too. I got off for work late. But I'm here for you guys. I'm kind of waiting. I'm going to come back to the solace and tragedy stuff because I want to wait for some of the guys to get in here. Because I'm not even confident I'm coming through clear. It seems like it's a go on my end, but I can't be sure with that. Um, and my screen keeps freezing up. Everything is going really slow. The Wi-Fi box maybe is too low to the ground or something. That might be something I need to look at. Why is everything going so slow? I closed the Webster Dictionary tabs because I thought they were freezing my stuff up, but apparently that wasn't it because I'm still freezing up. I don't know. I feel like aborting this show because everything, I don't have my setup right. I didn't have time to test everything beforehand. Let's see. Give me a second, y'all. See if we can get something working. Oh, that's right. The guy sent me some links. Let me see. Let's check some links right quick, you guys. Give me a second. I'm not together. Forgive me. Pat be sending me random stuff. Pat is Pat is random. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the Pope. I want to talk about the school shooting. What else? Doc sent some stuff because I don't know. The internet is picking apart the shooting like the internet always does, with random like details. And we like to focus on these random details, and I don't like to focus on random details because I like to look at the big picture of stuff. You get lost in those details and start that's when you go down those conspiracy theory rabbit holes, which don't lead you anywhere productive. New York Times. What is this one? I apologize, y'all. See, that's not even a link. Graphic content. I can't show that. My screen is freezing up. Man, I'm about to abort this show. Nothing is working right. My screen is freezing. It's froze. Man, what the hell is going on? I might be too far away from the Wi-Fi router because it's in the living room. I don't know what's going on. I'm about to abort this. I apologize, you guys. I swear I'm about to abort. Nothing is working. I don't even know if y'all can see me and hear me right properly. Why doesn't it even have it in my history? What?
say, because it helps us in our battle, our endless battle against the
I'm about to abort, y'all.
the algorithms. All right, so without further ado, here is Alex Suarez Brown. Hello.
Hi. Just to clarify, I am Alex Suarez, but my Twitter handle says Brown in the Empire because of brown skinned.
Oh, okay. Because I'd always known you as Alex Suarez, but then I looked at your Twitter and it said Dash Brown, and so I was like, all right, maybe he changed his name. I don't know. All right, sorry about that. Alex Suarez, thank you for joining me. And this is a big topic that gets so little coverage, and I just wanted to
I think I'm
do a deeper dive on it. So I'm glad you're here. So let's kind of
I think I'm gonna abort.
Lead into
Somebody's here, but my screen is froze again. It says somebody's here. I heard the noise, but I don't see them. Where's Pat? What's up, Pat? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. What's up? What's up?
Man, my screen's freezing up. I'm having all kind of technical difficulties over here, man.
Oh,
I moved into a new apartment, so this is the first show in the new place, and I just went and moved the router up higher, so maybe that was my problem. I don't know. I really don't. Was it lagging when you was watching, or it was just
I, I
freezing
didn't
up?
I didn't get a chance to watch. I just came
You
on.
you just jumped in here.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I can hear you fine, and you can hear me fine, right?
Yeah.
All right. Shit. I guess we can try to at least talk a bit. Let me close this screen, maybe. Cause it was the school shooting, man, right? The name of the show today is Solace and Tragedy. And the reason why I named it that is because I was thinking about the school shooting and how, I don't know, the way people are reacting, like it's just something that we need to get used to or whatever. Like, it's just the way things are, and there's nothing we can do about it. We're just gonna continue to have school shootings. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's quite that, but I mean, you know, when I think it's because I mean, it's all of our fault is allowing certain things to exist, and or forgetting about a certain crowd, or like I mean, this whole thing is about not being noticed. Because I mean, everybody, yeah, it was a school shooting, but it's not about the gun. People not shooting people because they got a gun or they can have a gun. Like it's deeper than that, and we gotta reach. We can't just look at. I mean, like surface shit is yeah, that's easy. But can we solve problems at some point? is where I stand. Like, people people are hurting because the very thing that we're trying to allow people to have freedoms for is what's like. I hate to say it. I mean, I hate to be the one to be the bearer of bad news, but because we're so free to have all these different genders, like, say, bro, these the LGBT is more likely to have to commit suicide because of all of the feelings that they have, and or people maybe, some people maybe not accepting them the way that they want to be accepted, or maybe getting too much acceptance is getting to them. Like, they thought that it was going to be more than what it really was, because it's like, oh yeah, yeah, you get all of this, people, the support, the people that want to, that's going to support you, and then when it just becomes normal, then they're like, oh, I'm just still just normal. I'm not special anymore.
Yeah. So well then what do you think though then? What is the answer? What solutions?
Bro, it's gonna take some time. I mean, people are gonna heal, but we can't keep lying and acting like things are normal when they're not. I mean, we gotta tell people when things are real and when things are fake, when it's not. Like, when you allow this fantasy world to exist, that really is no fantasy. Like, it's real fucking life.
Yeah.
And living a lie is never gonna help anyone, bro.
Well, I agree with that part. I think we need to embrace truth, as much as possible for our sanity, and then
Yeah.
for our cumulative sanity, of the race, of the human race, of the planet,
Yes.
you know.
'Cause I mean, yeah, I mean, this is no time to be talking about some, okay, this is some racist shit. No, bro. Like, people are hurting. You know what I'm saying? We had an incident where a kid was maybe getting bullied and felt like they, what I'm saying, they were being seen, but, they were getting negative attention. You
Well,
know,
what details do you have about this particular shooting? Like, I really didn't have time. I've been busy as hell. I wanted to play a video, but I'm scared to play it because it's freezing up. So, but what are the details? I know it was like what, like 9 kids, and it was a
no,
chick who
no.
was. How many kids got?
3 kids, 3 adults.
But more got injured, right?
Not that I know of, but that's what I heard. There's the 3 kids, 3 adults.
And
That's
it was a grown woman who went into the school and went in there and offed these kids, and then they offed her. That's how much I do know.
okay. Yeah, and see that you just went right into, like, it's like, we got to be real, bro. It was a dude, bro.
Oh, who? See, I don't know the details. I
It was a
haven't.
dude.
It looked like a woman in the
It
video.
was a dude that is live. I know that lives as a woman. It's
Mm.
a trans. Okay, all right. You know what? I guess I gotta fall in place with everybody else and acknowledge this person as something that they're not, like everybody else. Okay, it's a woman. You want to call her a woman? Call him a woman? Okay, we can go with that.
I
But
didn't. I just don't know the details. I wanted to
it's a
play a
trans.
video that.
It's a transgender man that lives as a woman. Um, that went into because I mean, as far as the details, because I mean, at the same point, like, people got me more riled up about, the whole, you know gun reform. it's not guns. Like, I mean, I wish people could see deeper in, like, it's not like the guns don't get up and do like the people who decide to use a gun to go and hurt anybody is not like, bro, it's like it's we need to look at what's happening with the people, why people want to go harm other people, like how are they feeling so unnoticed or so hurt or so anything to go harm other people. Like it's a psych it's a you know more of a psychological thing that's happening where people just want to look at the physical.
Well, you
I
know
just
where I stand on the guns,
Well,
but
I
I'm
know,
I'm a
and that's a personal thing. I mean, it's never gonna happen. I mean, you can fight. If you keep choosing to fight battles you can't fix. Okay, that's on you. Cause I mean, say, bro, I'm teaching my son that you need a gun because there's people
well,
that's crazy. And you're gonna need to defend yourself against somebody else who's gonna have a gun.
well, you're in an elementary school. You can't bring guns in elementary school. So I mean,
Well,
the
no,
little kids gonna be shooting back at the,
no.
the, the school
Well,
shooter.
I'm talking
Is
about
that what you
generations.
recommending?
No, what I'm saying is because, well, I mean, I tell you what, I think the teachers should have guns and be able to shoot back at the perpetrators of these people. Yes, not elementary school kids shouldn't be protecting themselves. Us as adults need to protect our children at any cost, whatever it's going to take. Yes, have guns in schools.
I don't agree with that at all. It's like the answer to the gun problem is more guns.
Well, I tell you what, more people are first of all, when somebody with a gun goes somewhere, they've already thought about, like, most likely these fools don't have a gun, so I'm gonna be the one, the up game here. When these people know that there's more guns at the place where they're going, they're gonna think twice before just going there with guns. When they know that people are there protecting themselves, usually they like, you know what? Let me find a softer target. They usually some little bitches.
Yeah,
Like they're
but
not.
these are little defenseless children that's being
Yes,
killed.
I understand it, and that's why. Like that's why. Like they go for soft targets. But if they know that the adults that's around these kids are most likely packing, and they ain't gonna make it far with whatever their plan is, they're gonna go somewhere else, or they're gonna choose to do something different.
Maybe I can pull up an article. Let me see, because the video man, I'm not gonna stay on long today because I'm freezing up. My screen is not, nothing is working right. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Well, my screen is frozen. This fucking sucks, man.
Yeah, I hear you fine, and I don't see. Well, I'm not really looking at the screen so much, but
Well, I can't do nothing. It's my screen is frozen.
oh,
I
okay,
can't even
yeah, no,
click.
I can see that you're frozen, but I mean, say I mean, you see how I live with my photo,
Yeah,
video. I know you need yours a little differently, but the main thing is, us at least being able to talk. Say, we got some audio.
yeah. Well, I can hear you, so that is
Yeah.
a good thing. Um, yeah. So I really wanted to get the proper details on the shooting. That's what I wanted. Um,
Uh-oh, guys. Sounds like we might have lost him, but I'm sure he's gonna come right back. Um, maybe even me, I might not be heard right now, but just in case, I don't want to leave y'all hanging. Um,
Okay, I'm back.
I really don't think that what would us doing this thing. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Looks like we might have him back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to leave the people just hanging in a bunch of open air, but um, you know, we gotta go deeper than just you know trying to solve the gun issue. That's like that's a that's too much of a democratic leftist ideology, and nothing that they're trying to do works. It just, and I'm sorry to say that because I mean I used to be one, but I am, or at least ideology on the ideology side. But bro, at some point we just gotta realize that certain things just don't work, regardless of blaming something that just has nothing to really do with the whole idea. That's the end result. But the reason why people are doing this is because like they want to be noticed. Like that, honestly, like I mean, we live in an attention culture, and when somebody's not getting the attention they want, they lose their damn mind, and it's just like it's really sad, bro. It's like super sad that I mean, for people to really feel like they're worth something, they got to be getting attention from here, there, and where.
Yeah, man. So then also you got the thing with the Pope, that topic.
Yeah, bro. I think that slipped by a bunch of people, bro. I don't think they really even like if they did even see it, they don't even. Probably won't even know the significance. So, I mean, and I guess if you want me to just go on into it, the current pope, and let's just say not just the pope, but the Vatican has denounced the doctrine of discovery. And for people who don't really understand the doctrine of discovery, is the law back in the 1500s, what was a papal bull that was created to send Christians out to seek, destroy, murder, like do whatever is necessary to take over lands and pretty much make anybody a Christian that's not already a Christian,
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
taking over lands.
And
And
basically it's God given,
yeah,
I got the article. Let me read some of it. PBS News Hour by Nicole Winfield, Associated Press. Vatican formally rejects doctrine of discovery after indigenous calls.
indigenous, yeah,
I,
indigenous.
I suck at saying that word. The Vatican on Thursday responded to indigenous demands and formally repudiated the doctrine of discovery, the theories backed by 15th century papal bulls that legitimized the colonial era seizure of native lands and form the basis of some property laws today. A Vatican statement said the papal bulls or decrees did not adequately reflect the equal dignity and rights of indigenous peoples and have never been considered expressions of the Catholic faith. The statement from the Vatican's development and education offices marked a historic recognition of the Vatican's own complicity in colonial era abuses committed by European powers. It was issued under history's first Latin American pontiff, who was hospitalized today with a respiratory infection, exactly 1 year after Francis met at the Vatican with indigenous leaders from Canada who raised the issue. On Thursday, these indigenous leaders welcomed the statement as a first good step, even though it didn't address the rescinding of the bulls themselves, and continued to take distance from acknowledging actual Vatican culpability in abuses. The statement said the papal documents had been manipulated for political purposes by competing colonial powers to justify moral acts against the indigenous peoples that were carried out at times without opposition from ecclesial authorities. So, but you know what I wonder about this is that, like, what they just said, like, it it's based. We have laws, property laws based on this stuff today, and just the Vatican saying this isn't gonna change those laws. Like, what impact would this really have? You know what I'm saying? What actual impact other than, you know, lip service?
Um. Well, that's a good question. First of all, now, I mean, of course, this would be the beginning of really this is the beginning of an era. Like we've already pretty much gone through like what we consider a reset, and the tables are like really balanced. Like I mean, right now in almost every area of the world, we're getting to where like this money, this US dollar is like crashing because of all of this, like different things that it's going through and this like but some of this stuff is being done purposely. Like I mean, we really have the conversation, we can kind of go into those different areas. But, you know, really we're at a point in life where coming into the new future, like anybody can be the new billionaires and trillionaires of this country. But, of course, they're trying to hide as much of that as possible, because like right now, especially people who are into the crypto, and crypto is about to be king as far as what we'll be using as a monetary system. Not that it's much different from the because it is a fiat system as far as I can see. It's just that it's going to be something different, and the technology is a lot better with it, but they want to be able to control people on a centralized platform, whereas like crypto was set up to be decentralized so that the people can have the power. We can, like deal with and do business with anyone from any corner of the world without having to uh, get permission or get taxed by your own personal government for doing nothing for you in the first place. Like, but um,
That's why this story jumped out at me too, because I feel like it, like you said, it's a cue to show the direction that things is going in, like a real reset, like a real, I don't know, global revolution, like I was saying in the other show. Like it's another example of, what's to come, because, you know when you lay a foundation on something that is shaky and is not sturdy and it's not truthful, then
hmm
it's bound to fall down, right? Like you can't build a house on sand or whatever. You know what I mean? You can't
no.
build a house on lies. It's gonna fall.
Well, and I mean that part, but I mean, overall, I mean, these people are living like there's a bunch of karma involved with the actions that they've made in the name of Christianity, Catholicism, the Vatican, the popes. Like they've gone, like these are people who have gone unchallenged for centuries. Like they no one can. They were the untouchables, and based on that, like I told some other people, like based on history, the Moors, who would we consider these are black people that was running the world before the era that we've just gone through, um, they had to go through the same thing because they were doing a lot of the same things. I don't know if it was, to the point where like with the, like the popes with little boys, but I'm sure, you know, it was, more probably little young girls. Because I mean, there was no age for marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like all sorts of things that happen that we are somewhat unclear of, but they pretty much gave in for their, so that their karma, they knew that their karma was gonna become, come back to bite them in the ass, and they decided to, you know, push it faster to allow these things to happen faster. So they gave up a lot of the powers that they had to some extent. Um, and I think that's kind of what the Vatican is trying to do to at least some extent. They don't want to go too far too fast, but
It's like the
yeah,
rubber band getting stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched. But
yeah,
when you're talking about the karma of doing all of these, you know, despicable acts, and then at some point it's going to snap back
yeah.
violently, right? So maybe you try to get the rubber band to come back slowly a bit before it completely snaps back on you.
Well, we got to think the only thing that didn't fall in Rome was the church. We have to ask why, like, how is that? I mean, if we really gonna get deep into it, but um, even the crown. When we talking about England, we just lost the last real queen or person to truly hold that crown legally, based on what the crown, is meant for, because she was at the very last leg of one of the Moors. Like she had the blood, but I think she was at 1/16th. Past the 16th, you're just you don't have that same blood. Her children just are not, you know, no matter whichever one you pick, it's not gonna, they're not black enough. They don't have enough of the Moorish blood to be able to hold the crown.
Mhm.
So they're gonna try to do this false flags to make people believe, those who just want to believe in is, oh my God, the one, but people who know that it's all crap.
Yeah. So, but the Vatican still has a lot of power, and the
Well,
British Empire is still pretty damn powerful too.
I tell you what, I think a lot of that is still is a bunch of false flags with it. Like, they're trying to pretend, bro. The power has moved, and like us here in the United States bubble, until the bubble really pops, nobody really gonna, you know, be able to see and feel it. But, bro, all of the power has shifted already, bro. The people that's, like, the United States people are gonna be the last one to know. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna fall flat on their face because they still putting the same kind of, belief into this system, when they should definitely be diverting some of their energy to other places if they want to protect themselves and their family. Like, it's just, I've been singing this tune for a while, and like, even at the least, I mean, bro, people need to be cooking. I mean, growing their own food, bro. They should be trying to find some other solid forms of media, like, for what we consider money, like alternate routes, because you can buy other more valuable, currencies from around the world that at least will have some value once this everything else implodes. Because you can play into the and keep believing in these people who have only terrorized for the last 2 centuries. Like, if that's the type of thing that you want to invest in and continue to support, I mean, that's on you. But guess what? You fall as hard as they do. That's just what's going to happen. You're going to fall right along with them. You're going to be looking for all of the stuff that they claim to provide. And I mean, I don't know if you people been noticing, like, like all of a sudden, we're saying brake problems with trains, but like out of like about 10 trains, like it's I don't think those are total accidents. I just don't believe it. They give us these scenarios. They give us the narratives to run with, but when you really just put two and two together, it's just like, okay, in 1 year, just because like we got the same breaks from 50 years ago, or from the civil, whenever they say the Civil War or whatever. All right, but now all of a sudden we just having a bunch of trains that's just falling off the track, or now they just deciding to tell us. And why all of them happen to have hazardous material on them? Why can't it be a train full of Jordans and not clothing and things that people could use? It's always freaking hazardous material that's falling off the track.
Our infrastructure is ass. That's the reason why.
I hear what you say. I know what I mean. We've had this discussion. We can blame it on the infrastructure, but yes, it is ass. But at the same time, it's if that's the case, it's been ass.
And it has been.
So how all of a sudden we just having back to back to back to back to back train wrecks?
It's the
That's
media deciding to cover this stuff, you know?
okay, and that's fine. But we also got to think about why things that we could use as our household goods is not falling off the track in our neighborhood, in our city. Why is every time it's a hazmat spill?
Well, because
Ruin,
those are the
ruin.
ones that make the news.
Well, no, those, bro, ain't nobody say, bro. Do you know people would be like, oh, the train fell over and it was a bunch of gold that fell off the train from coming through from wherever, blah blah blah. Like, we gotta think deeper than that, bro. Like,
Well, let me read this right here because it goes with what you were saying earlier. It says China and Brazil have reached a deal to trade in their own currencies, ditching the US dollar as an intermediary. The two BRICS members can now conduct financial transactions directly, exchanging yuan for rias instead of going through the dollar.
dun dun dun.
So that's what's happening. Um, I have a clip. I hope it can play, but it's
Say,
this
bro,
guy.
I preach all the time that history is so important, because every time there's a change, a true change in the world, like the same chain of events usually happen around it. So, like, by being able to, like, me, I know for myself, learning history allows me to see some of these things ahead of time. Well, if you want to call it ahead of time, like, but
You can see
I
it
don't.
coming.
You can see it coming. Like, no, like it's plain and clear. Like, I mean, all of the same things that had, like, say, bro, even the recent stuff back in like the early 1900s, and we're gonna call that recent, really, that's recent stuff. But if when you're looking at the when the bank's crashing, You know, like, bro, in most cases, if you're paying attention, these things really tell on themselves. You just can't have your freaking head in the fucking clouds when like death and destruction is happening around your feet.
Man, I want to play this video, but it don't look like it's gonna play. Man, nothing is working right tonight. I'm not staying on long, so I can't get nothing to work right.
And that's that Satan energy that's trying to keep you from doing what the people need. But you know,
Well, I just moved to this new apartment, and it could just simply be that I'm too far away from the router, the Wi-Fi router,
yeah,
and I'm not getting enough Wi-Fi. That's what I think it is.
yeah.
So I'm further away from the Wi-Fi router with my setup today. Oh, I'm froze again. Man, yeah, man, I'm not gonna stay on longer because I'm
Well, I'm honestly,
thoroughly
I
frustrated.
really don't need to stay on long either. I mean, I've been out of commission pretty much all week. Like I picked up a load on
What?
Sunday in New Hampshire. I end up having some issues with my lights. I changed out the lights thinking that that was the issue, but then nothing changed from it. So went to to a truck stop mechanic and let them start looking at it and down in over in Asheville, Virginia. And bro, this has been like the worst interaction with getting repairs done on my truck. And then they start trying to rob me with the cost, the hours and all this and that. But they ordered the wrong part. Like they know my truck is a Kenworth, but they ordered the part I needed from a Volvo dealer. It's not the right part. So that has me there because they couldn't get to me the first night when I got there because they're behind. The next day they look at me and they say, okay, whatever. So they order the part at what's supposed to be the part comes at, they get it overnighted. So the next day when it's supposed to get there, it's not the right thing. So they gotta send it back and then try to order the next part. But they ordered the part so late that they weren't able to get it overnighted. So not only did it not come the next day, I had to wait till for it to get here today. So with all of what I just explained, that's 4 days of me being at the at the shop trying to get lights fixed, replacing a harness, an electric harness or whatever.
Something
Which
that
I'm
should be
like, okay,
simple.
this is just it should be simple. Like I mean, it's just a harness. And then I say it's just a harness, but it's still almost $450 for just the harness. And then their hours that they're taking what they're saying they're doing the repairs. They first try to come at me with like 7 hours, 7.5 or more hours, and I think it's like $150 an hour or some crap. So I mean, I'm already looking at like $1,600.
And you're not making no money. That's the other part.
Oh no, I easily lost on the low end. I'm just gonna say I missed 3,500 easy. That was if I only got like cheap, real low loads. But between 35 and $4,500 that I missed not being you know,
Yeah.
that being stuck there. So
Well,
yeah, so So I'm not making any money, and then they're trying to make me spend more than what I should be, because there's no way that that job is truly taking 7.5 or anywhere close to that. So we end up settling on like 4.5 hours.
Yeah, man. And I had a crazy week too, man. I spent a whole shit ton of money, and I'm physically exhausted because I basically moved by myself.
I
Um,
know
I,
I know how that feels.
and the stuff that I couldn't move on my own, I ain't gonna lie. I went to Home Depot and got a couple guys to help me move my dressers and beds and stuff, and that costed me money. But I had to do it. There was no way for me to move them dressers on my own. I
You
moved
had a
everything.
dolly?
Yeah, I have a dolly, but I couldn't move the dresser on the dolly by myself. Impossible.
No.
Upstairs from upstairs to an upstairs. No way in hell. No way in hell I would have been able to do that. Um, so that's what it is, and shit, I'm freaking exhausted from that. I was going to school. I didn't miss no classes this week, and I missed one shift at work, but that's it. What's
Yeah.
up, Doc? I
Dr.
want,
Doolittle.
Let me read the article. I got an article on the Nashville shooter. It says the Nashville school shooter fell into an emotional spiral after the recent death of a close friend, classmate says. So this is, what is this? NBC News by Eric Ortiz and David K. Lee. It says friends of Audrey Hale, 28, still can't grasp how the loving teenager they knew could go launch a deadly attack that killed 6 people. So this was a teenager? I thought it was an older person. It says Nashville, Tennessee, Audrey Hale struggled to cope with the death of a close friend in the months before the rampage that killed 6 people at a private Christian school. Those who knew the school shooter said Wednesday. Oh yeah, and I did see something that I think that person attended that school before, in the
Yes,
past, and it's
yes, they
super
did.
and it's super interesting that it's a Christian school too. You know how me being hard on the charter schools and the Christian schools, y'all know I've been on it for the longest. And I saw this other thing on Twitter where it was this chick who was like, the vouchers are no good for her because she has like a special needs kid, and the charter schools don't have the facilities to provide for her child. And she was protesting. Let me read some more article. It says the 28-year-old who attacked the Covenant School on Monday was devastated by the death of in August of Sydney Cher Sims in a traffic accident. Former classmate Samira Hardcastle said. Hale and Sims attended Isaiah T. Cresswell Middle School of the Arts and the Nashville School of the Arts. Audrey definitely admired Sydney, Hardcastle said. One of Hale's former instructors at the Nazi College of Art and Design, Maria Colamy, said Sims' death took a great emotional toll on her former student. A lot of comments about you were all that mattered, and I'll miss you forever, etc. Comey said, paraphrasing what she saw of Hale's social media postings. Sims' father declined to comment Wednesday. So everything we know about the Nashville Elementary School victims of the Covenant School massacre included a 9-year-old who loved to perform in school, leader dedicated to her students. Nashville shooter was under care for emotional disorder and hid weapons at parents' home, police say. Video shows children running out of woods during Nashville school shooting. So this article is basically softening her, like, I guess maybe giving her an excuse, or like she was distressed. So
Well, they did find some sort of a manifesto, but I didn't have time to read through that article.
Yeah, I
yeah,
heard there was one, but I didn't go that far into, you know, that depth into it. But I felt like I kind of felt like I was trying to what a few different conversations is to defend guns when I shouldn't have to defend freaking guns. Like, okay, can we get to the heart of the problem? You know, not that the people are shooting up schools or kids. It's why.
Yeah, but you know how I feel about that. If she didn't have this multiple AR-15s or whatever the hell she had, she wouldn't have been able to do this.
Say, bro, do you know a regular handgun can let off 15 bullets within like less than 20 seconds?
Yeah, I don't know how effective it would have been. Let me
It's no
read this
difference.
one. It says timeline Nashville school shooting. The shooter entered the school, opened fire, killed 6 people, and was killed by officers less than an hour after leaving home. This is by Daniel Smithson, published March 29, 2023. It says Nashville, Tennessee. Officer Rex Engelbert was the first officer to open the doors to the Covenant School after reports of a school shooting on Monday morning in Nashville. Engelbert, a 4-year Metro Police veteran, quickly unlocked and opened the door after a school staffer told him that at least 2 children were missing. As the door opened, Engelbert was met with a blaring sound of a fire alarm echoing inside the school. Engelbert, not knowing who was inside, turned back to his team and yelled, "Let's go." 2 minutes and 15 seconds later, the threat was over. The event that unfolded Monday happened quickly. The shooter entered the school, opened fire, killed 6 people, and was killed by officers less than an hour after leaving home. Nashville school shooting timeline. About 9:30 a.m., Metro Police Chief John Drake said 28-year-old Audrey Hale left home Monday morning with a red bag. Hale's mother asked about the bag, but the shooter dismissed the question, police said. 9:53 a.m., Hale, driving a Honda Fit, arrives at the Covenant School, according to surveillance footage. The footage shows Hale driving around the parking lot, going out of frame and parking at about 9:55. 9:57, Hale sends a goodbye message on Instagram to a former middle school classmate on Instagram. "This is my last goodbye. I love you. See you again in another life." The former classmate responds, telling the shooter they have much more life to live. Hale responds again, saying, "One day this will make more sense, but something bad is about to happen." 10:10 a.m., Hale approached a side entrance to the private Christian school. Without hesitation, Hale fires rounds through the glass doors. Seconds later, the shooter ducks under a push bar to enter the school. Hale is carrying 2 AR-style rifles and a handgun. 10:13, shots fired, call to 911. 10:13, Hale walks through a school hallway for several minutes. The shooter walks around outside of church office, enters, exits, and then passes the children's ministry. Hale fires shots at 10:21 a.m. before walking out of the video frame. 10:24, the Metro Police officers arrive on the scene. Within seconds, Engelbert unlocks and opens the door. The 5-member tactical unit enters the school and starts its search for the shooter. 10:27, the team of officers encounters the shooter on the second floor atrium. Police said Hale had been firing through a window at arriving officers. Engelbert, alongside Officer Michael Colazzo, shot and killed Hale. The threat was over. Anyways, comments. Because I know, Doc, you were sending me a
My
lot of clips on this. I didn't get a chance to really, I
Okay,
was busy.
so I wasn't really sending you clips as much as the photos.
Yeah, the photos, but what were they? What?
Um, well, I showed you straight from my search. That way, there was more than just the one I was highlighting. But if you'll notice, the first two of them that I sent you, it shows white panels on the outsides and insides on both sides of the shooter's shoes. However, the body cam footage, they don't have white panels on the shoes. It's a white line and it looks like some sort of a red design on it, which someone mentioned it might be blood, but then I took a real good look at that, and there would, to be covered that way, there would be blood on the cuffs of the shoes, and it wouldn't make a perfect line down the side of the shoe like the one that they show with the on the shooter's body. I don't know what's up or anything like that. I'm not accusing nothing of anything. I just I you guys know I see weird things and patterns and stuff like that, and
But
that
what do
was
you
one of the
think?
things I noticed.
What do you think that suggests?
I don't even know what to think without going into conspiracy theory territory. It's just an anomaly that I noticed that
Let's go there.
I
I
want to
mean,
know more about.
give your disclaimer before you give your statement or what you assume or what you think.
Well, like I said,
We can,
all I know is it looks like the shooter on the body cam is not wearing the same shoes as the shooter walking around on the Raymond's video. I mean, the everything else is similar, but the shoes don't. They're not matching up to me.
so the person that was on the video, the closed circuit video of the school, is not the same person that they took pictures of outside of the school, or
No, the body where they showed him laying on the ground. The third photo that I sent on the mass text.
yeah.
The first two
And
photos, and it shows other photos. That's why I sent my link to the photos that shows like 5 or 6. Shows the one that I was showing you, and then a couple of others, so you could, look at them yourself, because I didn't want to sit there and just send you this photo, and that photo, and go, this is how it is. This way you can see for yourself that there are other views and stuff like that. And it looks like something's up, and I don't know why. I don't know why they
well,
would. I mean,
maybe we can talk a little more about it tomorrow, because I'll make sure that I take a look at it, my personal, myself, so we can have at least 2 different angles of two different sets of eyes on it. But because I ain't gonna lie, I didn't really get a chance to see really any videos this week.
I looked at those pictures, but I didn't know what I was looking at.
well,
Let me read.
that's why I labeled them. Take a look at the shoes, specifically at the white panels on the shoes in the first 2, and then the third one. Like I said, it does not look like the same shoes. It looks like they actually might be even dirtier. The white band around the bottom of the Van looking shoe. I mean, it looks like it might be a little grungier. It could be a lighting trick.
It's something weird about this particular shooting. Like, it doesn't fit the profile with the normal school shootings.
That's because anything done by someone other than the right so far, or without a right manifesto, they're burying. And this is the first one they couldn't.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, like the lefts are taking a lot of losses right now, and I think that might be, I mean, and it just seems to me that, okay, somebody lost a life. I'm not sure how they lost their life, but was, this didn't equal the crime. Like,
It was a
well,
car wreck, I believe.
Okay.
She lost someone recently in a car wreck, and I think it broke her. The shooter.
Okay.
We can go. I can go with that.
Let me read this. This is NPR. It says 4 big questions about the Nashville school shooting and what we know so far. It says Monday's deadly school shooting set in motion a familiar cycle of condolences, calls to action, and open-ended questions. Police have identified Audrey Hale as the shooter who opened fire at the Covenant School, Nashville, Tennessee Presbyterian School, killing 3 9-year-olds and 3 adults. But the investigation into why and how the violence unfolded is only just beginning. Here's a look at some of the big quarries and where they stand. Hale, a 28-year-old who used he, him pronouns, according to authorities, was a former student of the school. Nashville Police Chief John Drake said at a news conference on Tuesday. The shooter left behind a manifesto, Drake said, that included a map of the school with details about how Hale would enter it and carry out an attack. But police stressed that there was no evidence that specific victims, such as the head of the school, had been targeted. This school, this church building, was a target of the shooter, said Nashville Police spokesman Don Aaron. But we have no information at present to indicate that the shooter was targeting any one of the 6 individuals who were murdered. When asked specifically whether Hale targeted the school for religious reasons, Drake said he could not confirm. He added that police are working with the FBI to fully examine Hale's writings. The shooter's parents believe their child had sold Hale's only gun and didn't have any firearms at home, Drake said.
Child? What child?
Well, that's their child because that's their
Oh,
parents. That's her
okay.
parents.
All right. I got you. All right. So,
In actuality, Hale had legally purchased 7 firearms from 5 local gun stores. 3 of those weapons, including 2 assault-style firearms, were used in the shooting. Hale was under a doctor's care for an emotional disorder, Drake said, but law enforcement knew nothing about the treatment. In some states, red flag laws empower law enforcement to confiscate weapons from individuals due to mental illness or concerns for relatives. This is not quite the case in Tennessee. Police can take someone's guns if a court deems the person mentally incompetent, if the individual is judicially committed to a mental institution, or if the person is placed under a conservatorship. Similarly, so that goes with what I was saying. Like, look how easy it was for her to buy the gun. She's all he, she, whatever we want to call them, all messed up mentally, and it's real easy to just go to the store and go buy some damn guns so you can go plan out a damn shooting. Do you think that if the laws were better related to that, that could have avoided this tragedy?
No, because it's just as easy to pick up an illegal gun as it is to pick up a legal one.
Yes, it's easier, really. I mean, especially you know, you got your little, got, and
well,
I mean,
that's
it
Tennessee.
could be even be grandma, grandpa. Like you ain't lying. Tennessee is like Texas Part 2.
Well, we're Texas. I mean, we get our firearms just like we get our tamales. Out the back of a truck. In an alley somewhere. Government doesn't know about it.
Yeah, we can just go pick up some at the produce, the produce store. No, but
yeah,
look,
but them mom and
one of
pop
the things I want to know
are always better.
One of the things that I want to know that I don't think they've addressed it at all, because they mentioned the manifesto, but is she a part of some group? Like,
Here's another one. By this time, the dude that went into Uvalde, his manifesto was already published to the public. Buffalo shooter already published to the public. Another one already published to the public. Why isn't this one being allowed open to the public already? Because it's under investigation.
No, because it's a leftist group.
And now we're going to go back to
the FBI is more willing to hide things for people on the left than they are on the right, because they're like they're arch enemies.
Well, remember last week I was telling you about how there's more and more trans and alphabet group shooting clubs starting to pop up too, being encouraged to get guns to defend themselves.
Well,
which I'm not a discourage of, other than the fact that
me like anybody that needs a gun or feels like they need something to protect themselves, that's fine. But when you're doing stupid shit like this, like that's not defending yourself. Like you're going and attacking people. like you know, and then I think it's even worse. Like, you know, it seemed like they're somewhat relieved that this person didn't target one of these, at least one of these people that got killed. So everything was random. Like, I mean, like, you don't even have nobody specific that you're
You
angry
you
at, but you're just gonna go and
you don't go
kill.
into a school that you used to attend and not intend on confronting somebody.
Yeah, like I think she had to have some kind of personal issue with the school.
I'm thinking the guy that ran it and maybe one of the teachers was a problem.
I mean, is it possible this person? 'Cause, I
I'm
mean,
guessing. I'm guessing,
no,
by the
no,
way.
no. Well, that's fine, because I'm doing the same thing right now. Is it possible that she's a Satanist, or he, she, whatever we're gonna call the shooter, was a Satanist, and they just have something against Christian schools,
No, because they
Christianity?
previously attended that school.
Yeah, but usually when you go to a school, it's not because you choose. Your parents chose that. They weren't paying their own tuition.
And they were like 28, so it was 10 years ago that they went there.
At least.
Which of the victims, of course not the kids, but the adults, which of the victims were there 10 years ago?
But no, because they knew it was a soft situation, a soft crowd. They weren't gonna be,
Oh
you
yeah,
know, it's like going into a place
gun
that they
free
knew.
gun free zones are target zones.
Yeah.
They're fish in a barrel. That's how come all these shootings happen at schools? Because they're gun free zones. That's why they happen at churches. That's why they happen at open markets, things like that. Because there are a large amount of people grouped in a small area, generally undefended.
But what do y'all think could have prevented this? It's all random. It's all, you know. What
Well,
could have prevented it?
it seems like the person was having some mental problems as it is. Like you said, this is coming back to a
At the
broken
least.
people problem.
Amen.
But they like they said, in some states they have red flag laws. Let me read this. It says similarly being under a doctor's care alone wouldn't have met the threshold to prohibit the sale of weapons to hell. When it comes to emotional disorders, Tennessee law prohibits the sale of guns to only those individuals found by a court to pose a danger to themselves or others. Drake noted the lack of any red flag laws in Tennessee, but he added when questioned by reporters that police would have tried to get those weapons had they received a report that Hale was suicidal or threatening to kill someone. The Metropolitan Nashville Police Department has not yet returned a call from NPR asking for clarification on policies that Drake may have been referring to. Will the FBI or state agencies investigate this as a hate crime? Police say that Hale was previously a student of the Covenant School and targeted the building, which is also a church. On Tuesday, Senator Josh Hawley, Republican Missouri, took that to mean that the attack was targeted, that is, against Christians, and began calling for federal agencies to investigate the shooting as a hate crime. Hawley also introduced a Senate resolution to formally condemn the shooting as a hate crime. Hawley's choice in framing caught on quickly with other Republican leaders in a budget hearing on Tuesday. Senator John Kennedy, Louisiana, asked Attorney General Merrick Garland whether he planned to open a hate crime investigation into the shooting for the targeting of Christians. As of now, motive hasn't been identified. Garland said, adding that the FBI was working with the local police on the investigation. Without a living suspect or evidence of accomplices to charge, authorities would designate this as a hate crime largely for data reporting purposes. A little over 14% of hate crimes in the U.S. are connected to religion, according to the FBI most recent data said. Yeah, it would be so pointless to she's dead already. So
Well, I guess for us, because I mean, if she went to this school, she ended up at this school. Like, maybe there was something, like some reports that was made that maybe something happened to the child when they were in school, or you know, she had a bad memory and she just decided to flip out at the school. I don't know. Like, this is my arguments for the shooter, if we can even, you know, even challenge that. But like maybe something happened to this person at the school, which is what led them down this road that they're on. You know what I'm saying?
Let me read some more. It says, will lawmakers pass gun control measures? Monday's mass shooting was just one of 130 tracked in the U.S. this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive. And as with these previous shootings, lawmakers were once again quick to concede that Monday's act of violence likely won't be enough to shake off the stalemate on gun reform. On Tuesday, President Biden followed his consistent call for an assault weapons ban with a rhetorical question, why do I keep saying this if it's not happening? He asked. Because I want you to know who isn't doing it, who isn't helping to put pressure on them. Republican lawmakers, including Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee, told reporters that gun laws don't work to curb violence. I don't
Nope.
see any real role we could do other than mess things up, he said on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. I don't think you're going to stop the gun violence. You've got to change people's hearts. We can all agree on one thing, that every human has a great value, and we will act to prevent this from happening again, said Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, a Republican, in a Tuesday evening video address. He didn't clarify what that action would look like. Lee has been a vocal opponent of gun control throughout his time in office, calling for every school to have a resource officer staffed on campus. If anything, the ruby red state appears to be leaning further into its reputation as a gun friendly state. As Nashville mourned the protests on Tuesday, a federal judge quietly paved the way for Tennessee to reduce the minimum age at which residents can carry handguns publicly. But I disagree with that comment where he said, I don't see any, what did he say? Um, gun laws don't work to curb violence.
They
Well,
never
what
have.
what evidence do y'all have to support that? Because I have plenty.
There's plenty. There's
I
plenty.
I can pull up some stuff right now where there's places that has implemented gun laws,
Other countries.
and their gun violence
You well,
has
but
dropped
no,
dramatically.
yeah, because all right, if they
Other
take
countries
guns
that
away,
don't.
the gun violence goes away, but not murder. That's the thing that you have. They find other ways. If they want to kill somebody, no matter where you are, they'll find a weapon to do it. They'll something that can do the job, and probably even just as many. Like, do you know how many people can get stabbed in 2 minutes?
Not as many as you can kill with a freaking AR-15 with a 100-round drum.
Maybe not, but guess what? I mean, there was 6 people that
Well,
just got
see, now
killed with.
that 100 round drum is illegal.
The AR the what is it, the making them fully automatic, the extra
Look,
little, that's illegal.
Absolutely,
And,
no,
absolutely.
everybody has that. Like almost everybody has it. You can order it online. The buck
okay,
stock or whatever
but
you
but
call it.
but you know what? Honestly, based on
You
what
don't even need
your
the bump stock. All you need to do is get a $6 part that'll let you that you can replace. It'll let you
yeah,
switch
they can
between
kind
the
of yeah, they
three
can kind of
round and full
modify it
fire.
themselves. Yeah, they
It
can
costs about
modify it themselves.
$7 or $8, and you can get them legally because it's a part and not a gun itself.
Yeah, but say, bro, it's way deeper than guns, and I mean, people who really who have another agenda, really, are the people who focus on the whole, you know, above the average person. Like when we get into politics, those people keep spinning that narrative of guns, changing the ideas of guns, are the same people who are trying to you know
People that
make
believe
it.
that the government can protect us or is even willing to.
Well, then, yeah, I would argue that they're not trying to do anything. The last few regimes are not really trying to protect us, or just, if they're trying to take away your personal right to protect yourself when everybody else got guns, and the government, that they can launch a you know, a campaign against the people in any moment, and you can't protect yourself. Anybody doing that, like I don't think they've really thought it through.
And
A government should always be afraid of its people. An
I
unarmed
agree.
populace means the government is not afraid of the people anymore,
I
meaning it
agree.
now has power and control.
I ain't gonna lie. I agree with
My
that
government
part.
does not have power and
Okay, well
control.
you can't advocate for these gun reforms or getting rid, because I mean, just like
It's
the whole.
restriction of access. It's more difficult in getting the guns. Like this line where he
But that
says, and this is what y'all been saying. He said, the Republican lawmaker. He said, "You've got to change people's hearts." Like that's some fucking impossible ass fucking bullshit
Okay,
ass fucking shit to say.
no.
well, I'm gonna tell you something.
Here's the line
We
that we
got
should be agreeing with. People do not value human life like they used to.
to look. You
That
know
is the
what?
real problem we've got going on. People don't value human life, or they think your life and your life are less important than my suffering.
Yeah,
Your
but
life is now my statement of how bad I hurt.
I can't disagree with
It's
that.
narcissism.
But
How
how
about this?
difficult is it to change somebody's heart versus just restricting their access to freaking guns? I
Bro,
mean,
no, 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 no,
you're
no, no, no.
more capable of restricting their access to guns than changing their hearts, bro. That's some
No,
impossible
actually,
shit.
you're
That's
not.
not true. That's not true. It's just not true,
And then
bro.
if you do
And but
restrict access to all those guns, then who's left with the guns? The government and the criminals. I trust the criminals with my safety, and I feel safer with them than I do the government, especially after the lockdowns.
say,
Take a
bro,
look at what happened in Australia, where they disarmed their public, even
Mhm.
though it's a freed society like ours. They were beating people in the street and forcing masks on their face.
And look, we have to look at the fact that, well, or maybe
And I don't
try to
think Australia
analyze.
has had a school shooting in like forever.
Actually, they recently had one not long ago, but again, guns are hard to get to and stuff like that. Yes,
But
but the thing is,
But I don't
most
they
of
think
our
did
the
have
gun
things
some.
aren't
control is
school
the
They did
issue.
have
shootings.
some stabbing. They did have some stabbings in the middle of the street, in the just on the. It wasn't like a. Like I said, it wasn't a
That
shooting,
that's where
but
the
Why do
guy went
people
through and stabbed
always
like 20
call?
people in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
but listen,
why do
before I
people
forget.
always call gun control when there's a school shooting or a mass shooting, dude? It's an issue bigger than the gun. It's the person
It really
behind the
is.
fucking gun, bro.
But
Like, and
But listen,
we
this
can't.
this is something that we got to challenge though, because all right, we need a when I say that looking at our history can help us not repeat some of the same things. Let's go back to a time when we didn't really have school shootings. What kind of atmosphere were we living in before we had all these shootings? What changed in our society that where these school shootings started happening more?
more access to guns.
Man, that's not true
Truthfully,
because
We've always had
back
access
in the
to
day,
truthfully,
guns.
the rise of
dude.
gangster rap,
Hey, to be
the
honest with you,
rise of the culture where violence is an acceptable answer to words.
but
Okay,
he say more
the
he
video
say more
games.
access to guns. But
Now, I'm not going to
I
say
grew up.
video games because people that play video games are far likely less to shoot people because they're sitting there playing the damn video games and smoking most of the
So,
time.
so
I
you
grew
mean
up
to
in
tell me?
small town
So what? No, no, hold on,
Louisiana,
hold on,
bro.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Is there more people with the access to gangster culture, or is there more people with access to video games?
It's not the video
Well,
games. I agree with Doc.
it went
Oh,
to
Access.
because y'all
I'm
love
gonna
video
take care of
games.
you to I'm gonna pop a cap in your ass.
It's
Hey
not
man,
the
That is
video
an
games.
acceptable. Do you realize most mass shootings are gang violence and stuff like that?
but I can't
Exactly.
I
That's
can't
true.
speak to the access of guns because I grew up in a very small town in Louisiana, Baldwin, Louisiana.
I
That's
guarantee
in
you had
between
easy access
Lafayette.
to guns.
Yes, had very
Yeah.
easy access to guns. I was at Baldwin Elementary School, and the teachers would have a gun in the fucking rack of the back
I,
windshield of their pickup truck. You know,
oh, I know when
you
I
go
grew
down
up.
the
Hey,
road
Yeah,
to
I grew
Baldwin
up in
High
the
School.
'80s.
yeah, me
When you
too.
go
That's
down
what I'm
the
saying.
road
That
to
was
Baldwin High
common.
School, they had guns.
But
The
listen,
high
They,
schoolers
they,
had
they had
guns in their
kids
pickup
in Longview,
trucks.
Texas. They had kids parked in the school parking lot with shotguns and deer rifles in the back rack of their truck. No one ever cared a thing.
yeah, I know. But listen, the more guns that when people know there's more guns around, it tends not to be that kind of problem because people are like, well, damn, everybody's on the same playing field. But when they feel like the people that they're going after or about to attack don't have guns, those are the people that get taken advantage of.
I
So
think we
which
have to make a
what side? So what
we,
side would you rather be on?
I think
Somebody who's
we have
Go
to
ahead.
make a clear distinction related to y'all talking about the rifles and the hunting rifles and
No,
stuff.
it doesn't
First
matter
off,
what kind of gun. It
it
doesn't matter. You
does. It does. It totally
it
does
does
because it's a
it
different
does not.
culture that comes along with the AR-15 versus a freaking
No,
buckshot
That
uh,
that's that
rifle.
gangster. That's that gangster culture that I'm talking about. A
It's
lot
that's
of them, the war
bro.
culture too.
Most people that have those types of guns are not even considered to be gangsters. They just
Well, most
gun
of them I see, they're just
enthusiasts.
posers.
I agree with both of y'all on that. But what I'm saying is that there's a totally different culture. Like the gun safety, they teaching the kids from young. When you take them out there and teach them how to hunt, and they have more respect for the guns. And the guns also don't have so much fucking. They're not fully automatic. That's another thing. You know what I'm
There
saying?
are no fully automatic guns legal in the United States. Period.
So
End of
AR-15 is
statement.
not fully automatic though.
Bump stocks have not been legal for almost 6 years.
and what I'm saying is like, and
Yes,
dude,
they're out there,
with
but
your comment about them carrying the guns, they were probably shotguns. They were like, two shots, maybe eight the max, and like, like I
shotguns
say,
and like Clydes.
and those are there's a different culture that comes along with those guns. Those people have respect for
I
those
don't know. I
guns.
can get a 50-round drum of slugs for some shotguns. It's going to go through a friggin' engine block of a semi.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that person who's carrying around those types of weapons those aren't the weapons that are used in these mass shootings, because it's a different culture, it's a different way of
No,
thinking.
they're using the AR-15s because they're easy to use. But on the other hand, if I'm going to have some in my house, I want my wife, I want my daughter to be able to point and shoot like that.
They
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 shouldn't.
can they can point and
That's
shoot the shotgun, and it
not
would be
not
effective
get kicked on their ass.
if they know how to hold it.
The ARs, the rifles like that, they're perfect home defense weapons, especially for women, smaller people, stuff like that. They're accurate. They're relatively short range. They don't have a lot of penetrating or stopping power. They've got stopping power, but not a lot of penetration power. They tend to hit people, knock people back, and stuff like that.
And that's
That's
all
why
of
they'll
those are
spray a
reasons
friggin'
why.
room, and that's why they'll kill 3 people out of 19 shot. But then there
all,
are some, and there are certain ammos and stuff like that, high revolution ammos and stuff like that,
all
dum
of
dum
those are reasons
ammos.
why they shouldn't be
Those
so
are things
easily
that we should be
accessed.
looking at banning too.
All of those are reasons why those should be more restricted, because they're lighter, they're easier to use, they
Man,
have more rounds, a little kid
all
can
I'm gonna
freaking
say
use it.
is
So
I'd
the
rather
more
have a gun in
valuable
my
for house
home
You need to get
defense.
than to
you need to
have an
get over your
invader run into
phobia
my
of
house
guns,
and
bro.
I not have anything to protect myself, bro. Damn that the gun control. This that. Hey, if somebody running your house, they know somebody's there. They're looking to do harm if they have to,
And a
and
shotgun,
I
a
would rather be
rifle
prepared
will
and
do the
have.
job. You don't need weapons of war. Everybody walking around with freaking the same
But what
damn
if
A
they?
kind of.
shotgun is a
What
weapon
if
of
they?
war. A
Say,
What
knife
if
is a
guys,
weapon of war.
what if they
No,
come to
See,
your house
you,
with an AR-15 or an
we're
AR-10?
we're going back and
Or are
forth
they
with
coming there with a
somebody
semi
who's an
with a semi?
armaphobe.
Or what if they come out with What if they come in your house with a semi-automatic shotgun? See, you forget they got semi-automatic shotguns with pistol grips on them.
The public needs to be disarmed so the state can have its way.
Free
I mean,
reign.
that's just the way it
Yes.
is.
Those
So we can act,
semi-automatic
so we
shotguns
so we
got
can
like
have
8 shots, maybe 16 max. And then you
say,
got to
bro.
reload.
Say, bro.
It doesn't matter. But if you got
We're
a
wasting
single, or
time
maybe a
on a
double shot.
conversation that has nothing to do with the what we've been talking about. The guns are not the problem. I mean,
I'm saying they are.
you can say that, but you're still wrong.
But you want the public disarmed as well.
I don't.
You trust the government to protect the public. You think the
You
government
don't even have
has it in our
yourself
best interest
a regular
if they
gun.
take weapons away from
I
us.
don't own a weapon. I don't.
Man,
Why?
all I'm
Yes,
saying
you
is
you
I ain't
own
trying to
weapons.
fight
You
a
might not own a
motherfucker with a
gun,
knife
but you
that's
own
got a gun.
weapons.
Look, here's the funny thing. I own swords, a couple of knives. It's gonna be pretty bad if you come at me and stuff like that. I feel sorry for you. My girl's got the gun. She
I got
gonna
a
shoot
knife.
you.
I don't
There's gonna be
have no
some evidence if I
sword,
get
but I
you.
do have me a nice sharp machete that I'll chop you limb from limb.
And
But
I am good enough with a sword that I'm willing to carry one on my side if it becomes legal in that manner.
And I keep all kinds of other kinds of weapons. I do have weapons. I
of
just
course.
don't have guns.
Okay, but you know what? You would psychologically somebody got to you at an early enough age to make you feel that that's a solution to a problem is not having guns, or you don't want to be a part of that
It was a
culture.
decision I
But
made
that's
on my own because
okay.
my dad had guns around me all
Yeah.
the time. He used to teach me how to take them apart. Like, I can handle weapons. Trust me on this. My dad was in the military. He was in the Air
that
Force.
decision out the window
Okay,
when I got shot
that's
at.
fine.
I just made a decision on my own because I feel like they carry an energy with them,
But-
their own
but-
vibe. It's an evil. If something was
It's
built
not true.
to kill people,
Oh,
like hunting,
You only the person with
It's a
a
tool.
weapon
It
can
wasn't built
demonize
to
it
do anything.
or make it worth like used for good. Like it's the person. You can't
It's-
blame it alone
I
to be
believe it.
evil.
I believe in energy.
So
And
Well,
then
I
you're-
know,
you're
but see,
preaching a
that's the thing.
personal choice.
You believing something is you not knowing something.
I
Believe all
believe
you
that
want.
when
You
something
believe-
is
exactly.
manufactured
Every time
to
you say
kill
believe,
people, then it's gonna have this energy or aura about it. If it
But
was
no,
built
no,
for
see, your
They're
mindset is
manufactured,
backwards.
period. There
They're
is no
manufa-
intent in an object. There is no intent in a tool.
When you start looking at the intent that
it
guns
is. If it was made
guns
to
are there
kill
to
people,
protect people.
A grenade maybe was intended to kill people, especially if it's anti-personnel.
Guns were protected to protect people.
you was just explaining how inaccurate the AR-15 is. You can't use that to go hunting. I mean, you probably could, but you're not going to be very successful.
hunt with
And the meat, ain't going to be worth the shit afterwards. It's not. It wasn't built for that intent. It's for hunting because it sucks for hunting. It's really good at killing people.
Depends on what you're hunting and depends on your accuracy and ability with it too.
That meat gonna be useless.
Listen. We made this into a gun debate when we're talking about people who have bad, their mental health.
No,
is
this isn't a gun debate. It's a control debate.
Well, you can call it whatever. I mean, but my thing is that we started talking about this person who used guns to hurt people that had nothing, that did nothing to harm them. So we're talking about a mental health situation that we want to blame on guns.
Someone who had a mental health issue already.
And then
and here's something else we haven't even talked about yet. Money.
Well, they had access. They had money.
They had
mental health issue, and they also had access to guns.
They recently just bought.
That's the perfect storm. That's the perfect storm.
Remember Uvalde.
And,
The 18-year-old kid, where did he get $10,000 worth of guns and a new truck?
That's definitely a part of the
Where
story.
did this come? Yeah,
Say, bro,
that's something I want to
that's
see
why I
too.
asked about the group, because some of these groups are funding these people to go buy guns, and because and maybe even as sleeper cells that's gonna
Well,
eventually come, that's meant to come out and do what they're doing.
This
Even
person wanted to die because we read earlier where she was
anyone that shoots
intending.
up with a school is suicide by intent, is what they're
Yeah.
trying to do.
Right.
We know
Right.
this so far.
We know this. So that's what I'm saying. So it's like, but this person wants to kill themselves, but they want to go out with a bang. But if they didn't have the access to these weapons, they would have maybe just hung
That's
themselves or jumped off a
oh
building or something. It
No,
wouldn't have taken a
hell
bunch
no,
of kids
no.
with
bro.
them.
They would have
Say,
driven their
bro,
car
you got too
into
many
a fucking
maybes, bro.
playground.
Say, bro, look,
It's about making the statement. It's about other lives not being worth my pain or being less than my pain. I can only show you how much pain I have by doing something so horrifically tragic
do you think I
that
don't
you
live
have to
with
stop and
pain?
go, what's wrong?
I live with
What could
pain
we have
too.
done?
I'm not going to
Okay,
go shoot up an elementary
but
school.
I know, and I got guns.
Do you have an AR-15?
Does it matter? It doesn't matter, bro.
I will neither
That's
confirm nor deny any particular weapon within my collection.
it doesn't matter what kind of gun it is, bro. You at some
I
point
think
you
it
might
does.
realize. I think at some point you might realize, and just because we're having this conversation, somebody's gonna prove to you that it doesn't have to be that kind of gun. Because when somebody's got it out to kill some people, and then not to say if they are a good shot, somebody can take a regular 9mm with a 9, 10 shot, 13 shot, and knock off way more people than these people who can shoot
It's
50
it's
times in a
it's
row.
like what I was saying before. It's a culture related to it. You
See, the
have
problem with
handguns
the problem with
because you're
the
using
ARs
them
is they
for
don't take
protection.
training.
Exactly.
Okay, that's why everybody doesn't like them. But for the exact same reason, they are exactly the kind of personal weapon that people want and need. And I'm not going to say need to have. I'm going to say that that's exactly the same reason why people, especially with daughters, wives, and stuff like that, people that are willing to defend but don't take that every bit military training, it's much easier to have that capable hand at their hands in case something happens.
Well, look. Let me ask you this, Pat.
It's the go
You
ahead.
carry the handgun, and you feel like that's perfectly fine for your self defense. That's why you carry it. You won't have no reason to pull it out unless something is threatening you or your loved ones. The AR-15
Because,
is
but that's
not that.
because, but that's because how I train my mind. There's other people who
But
train their
but you're
Why
not
are
mind
you
gonna.
why are you carrying
because
your
regardless of
AR-15 outside your house unless you're
yeah,
going to hunt or target shoot
there's
with it?
somebody whose
That's
mind.
my whole point. But
But
you
that's the
carry
thing,
the
because
pistol all the
But
time.
that's not a point.
listen, see, that's the whole thing. Like, all right, if I really wanted to kill somebody, I mean, I could use my handgun, or I can use any other gun that's available. So these people go and get these other handguns because yeah, the idea is that you can hit more targets without much effort.
If you was
You know,
going out of the house to go to war to kill
That's
some
why
people, that's when you
they're
need that
used.
AR-15.
No, that's why they're used by mass shooters in these
It's
places.
cold as fuck out.
They're being used because they're perfect fish in a barrel weapons. So why don't we stop there being barrels? Why don't we stop there being fishing barrels? If they
Yes, it
know that there's no longer safe to walk in there and start shooting, then
Even
they're
if it's
not going to do it.
look
They're going to
forever.
find something
Every
else.
to
every
me,
school, every
See, you're saying fuck with people that don't have anything to do with it instead of defending people.
yeah, like you like that's just not
But
gonna happen, bro.
that's good for
Because
the community, though.
there's
That's
way
good for
too
the
many guns
social.
out there.
every
There's way too many
school,
guns out
every
there.
church is gonna
Yes, they need
be
to.
a fish in a barrel
And what
place
happened? And what
No,
happened to that guy that walked into
forever.
the Texas church 2 years ago?
He took 2 people out before they got him.
Well, yeah, he did, because where were they sitting? In pews and crap. But that dude went bam, bam. There was defense. He didn't even have and that was with an AR. He had a pistol. I think
That's
everyone in that incident had a pistol.
that's the
well,
reason
I'm
why
gonna
he
tell
only
you,
got 2 people. If he would have had
Arizona,
an AR, he would have probably got
Arizona
9.
schools, Arizona schools and churches have guns, and guess what? They don't.
No,
We
because he
don't. We
still
ain't
would have
never.
only been able to shoot as fast as he could pull the trigger, just like the pistol.
All right, y'all heard what I said about Arizona
What about Arizona?
and them have their schools having teachers and principals and even like security officers with guns, and guess what? Don't choose to go to those schools and try to shoot up nobody because they know that people are ready and are prepared. That's like the whole idea. Even if they don't actually have guns, I mean, I think that they should, but I mean, at least where people believe that those schools are protected. So maybe in their mind, they'll be like, "Oh, this is not a place where I can really go and do what I want to do."
But the thing about them putting guns in the school, I don't think they should give them to the teachers because you have a lot of teachers that suffer with different mental illnesses, anxiety, a lot of things, and we see it on a daily basis. So you get a teacher that's having a episode and the kids are outraged and she knows she got that gun locked up in that cabinet over there. Ain't no telling not just she, let me rephrase that, he or she never know what could happen. So that's the big hold up on that because Texas even thought about doing that. But
I think that's a
Well, I
horrible
think
idea.
Well, I think that just like if we're gonna if we're gonna
how about we just keep cops, police officers on the campus like they do in our
well
school
well that
district? We
was
got
well,
Galveston
that's
County Sheriff officers
listen
that are there
We
every day.
well that's a
Because they treating
conversation.
kids like criminals and beating them
we
up and all
we
kinds of shit.
we don't need an armory. That we don't need armories on school properties.
Well listen
I do have a problem with the
there was a
cops and the
conversation.
way they treat kids. My son was abused quite badly. We got a video of the chief of police of the A-Leaf school district shoving him up the wall against the wall, putting his hand on his gun and telling him, come at me, I dare you, you little bitch. And they didn't
Not that,
fire him for it. To be fair, they did not renew his contract when it came up because came up like a year later. But yeah, he never got any discipline for that, and that was on film.
Well, I'm gonna say this: if the government can try to want to hire tax preparers or whatever IRS agents to carry guns and pay them 80 to 90 thousand dollars a year, they could actually come up with a force, or at least if they really wanted to protect schools, they can have they don't have to be inside the school. If they got one or two people around a school at all times, like protecting the perimeter, like there should this is something that should never be a problem. But they rather pay people to attack the people instead of somebody that's there to protect people from the criminals. And I just think that that's just a backwards way to see how to govern um the people. Like, I mean, the
No,
main thing is supposed to protect and serve the people, but it's more so let's attack them.
you want to see what gun control does? Let's talk about Detroit. Let's talk about Chicago.
Chicago, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, those New York.
That is the result of gun control. Citizens willingly turn their guns in.
And they can't protect themselves. Crime goes up.
They accept the protection of the police, and
That's
then
what the statistics say.
Mayor Beetlejuice decides to cut the funding for the police in half, except for the ones protecting her property.
Well, there's definitely a racial component to this when you mention those two cities.
Well, but the whole idea is
it's also
an ideology.
Voting preference to those two cities.
It's an ideology that's a problem there, because they're just the same way that you're thinking about getting rid of guns, or you're saying restricting this.
Those communities have already done it, and look what happened to those communities.
Yeah, they tried.
Do you realize those two communities make up almost 40% of mass shootings in America so far this year? California is another place that does it. All have something in common. Harsh gun laws, taking guns out of people's hands, leaving them in the hands of criminals.
Vulnerable.
Gang violence, which most of the gang violence is really calming down now, because a lot of the cartel gangs, MS-13 and a couple of the other cartel gangs, have really wiped out quite viciously most of the gangs as we knew them back in the, hey, it's cool to be a gangster day, from MTV and all that, because they've taken over the drug trade. They've taken over the there really wasn't a human traffic trade amongst American gangsters and stuff like that, but that's there's a lot of that going on now.
I'm shaking my head because gang violence is one thing, but we're talking about school shootings, and all of the school shootings that I've seen,
because that's what they're focusing on. That is less than 3%. That is less than 3% of mass shootings.
What I'm saying is, y'all talking about Detroit and Chicago, but when was the last time it was a school shooting in Detroit or Chicago? All the school shootings have been in, all other places.
Let's see. I believe I pointed 2 or 3 of them out a while back. School playgrounds getting shot up in gang wars. Neighborhood playgrounds too.
Right, that's not.
It literally got skipped over. They didn't say anything about the news because it was while the Floyd riots were going on.
Well, no, it's different because that's like crossfire type of thing.
It's different. Okay.
It's different than going into a school and purposely trying to kill kids. That's totally different.
Randomly spraying bullets in a public place in a playground is different.
It's different. Because
it's still about shooting up innocents. It's still efficient. It's not a fish in a barrel situation, but there's still a whole bunch of them there. Drive-bys, shooting the public. Why is that less of a bad thing? Are we measuring bad things now?
No, I'm not saying what's worse and what's not. Because you're all insinuating that these are democratic cities, democratic ideologies that's leading to the gun violence in those cities. And I'm saying that the school shootings are happening in Republican cities, Republican states.
Because we have problems with broken people laws. No one here has ever made a variance off of saying it's not about guns, it's about broken people. You're the only one saying it's about guns.
Because
we need to stop and find ways to stop the entire world being focused on the last 15 minutes of this person's life.
But that's an impossible task, is to fix the hearts
So
of
is
men.
getting guns out of bad people's hands. Because all you're doing right now with your laws and control is literally trying to take them away from people that are not bad and that will follow the law and then give them to you. Then the only one that has guns left are people who do not have good intent. And the government. That's what we're left at. I don't feel safe with that. Because
Well,
I don't feel safe from the government.
I don't feel safe for my children to go to school and not get shot up. I have a child in elementary school right now.
I
I have another one in
understand that.
high school right now.
I
Right
understand
now.
that. I do.
What,
I understand that.
what would make me feel better about them being safe and not gonna fucking die, bro?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, controlling guns and stuff like that is not going to make them safer. They're
So
still
what-
going to be able to get those rifles. They're still going to go into those places.
So
They're
what-
still going to pick mass target places.
So what is a real answer? A real answer, not some give the
You don't look
teachers
for
guns.
answers. You look for dissonance. We've tried to come up with answers before, and it always comes back to just the same thing being yelled over and over.
Cause I heard give the teachers guns. I
No.
heard give the police officers guns. I heard don't have fish in a barrel places. How do you possibly come? How could you possibly? How can
The
those
carrying
actually
firearms should be a choice. It should never be mandatory. Nobody should be in a position where they are forced to carry a gun, nor should anyone be in a position where they feel like the only thing they can do is carry a gun. The idea is about safety. And when you take all the guns away from an area from other people who follow the law, then the only people going in there are going to be people who aren't following the law. So is that a control of guns issue, or is it a criminal issue?
How can I have my children safe and not worry about them dying in a school shooting? Is what I'm saying.
Well,
And then you
unfortunately,
have-
But I think it goes
Unfortunately,
beyond
it-
just the school. Everybody's looking at the school because it's happening there, and you have a right to. But your
that's why
child
we're
is
on
just
this.
as unsafe. Your child is just as unsafe as you letting him or her, walk outside your door and say, "Hey, you can go down the street and play with your friend," or "Hey, you can go to the shopping mall and go to lunch with your friends." They're just as unsafe any other place. You know what I'm saying? I get why people are harping on, school is supposed to be a safe place and this and that, but we're missing that you're just as much as danger of them being in the car with you and some asshole cuts you off and you blow the horn just out of natural reflex. You blow the horn at them and they pull up beside you and fucking let off rounds in your car. Let's
But if
not
they didn't
just
have
harp
the
on.
guns, they wouldn't be able to do that.
It's not the gun, bro. It's the mentality. It's the mind state of people. It's the mentality of people, bro. Nobody gives a fuck about nobody anymore. You know what I'm saying? We're programmed to dislike and hate one another instead of fucking lead with love, and instead of taking accountability, and most importantly, we don't have no respect for one another. That's what it boils down to. It's not the gun. We need guns. We need weapons to protect ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We need
Look
to
at
be
this.
able to provide protection
Look,
within
Y'all,
your home.
take a second.
this is
Wait,
about the
wait.
media causing you fear. No, yeah, I agree. Wait for a second. You realize that the chances of a child dying in a school shooting right now are almost 10 million to 1. Less than
Okay.
being hit by lightning.
That's
It happens,
those-
and the problem is, it's because the media focuses on this so much that they have created this dissonance and fear. And that's what it's really about.
Look at this map, you guys. Look at this map I have on the screen. Okay? Check this map out. Explain this freaking map. Okay? It says school shootings by country 2023. Okay? You see these colors at the bottom? The pale is like 0. It gets darker with the number of shootings. The blue is 300. Where you see where there's blue? You see all of the other countries and the colors that they are?
Okay, first of all,
come on, you guys.
First of all, stats on this, because you just showing a map like this, I guarantee you these colors are wrong. Because there's been 3 shootings at least in Africa so far.
There's yellow. It's the little tan color is 20. Okay. So and it gets to green into the 40. I don't see.
Okay,
I don't
so
think I see any
so
greens,
we've had
but there's some yellow
200 we've had 260 school shootings so far this year.
or 280 or 300 based on these colors.
Where is that from? What is that thing that you're showing us right now? Telling us not to trust, you know?
This is really simple right here. Like, I mean, come on. Like
It looks like
the
the kind
dark
of stuff
blue is
it looks to me like the exact kind of stuff they're using to cause fear.
This is not for fear. This is
do you know there's only been 74 people, there's only been 74 people killed or injured at schools and stuff like that so far?
Look at these other countries, bro. Look at these other countries. Nobody is even
but
in
they're
our
not
range.
but they're not this country.
What does that mean?
And not all of those have guns controlled by the state or no firearms.
Like, freaking a lot of these
that shows you how fucked up we are mentally in America. It's a people problem. It's not a gun problem, because a lot of these states there that have so few also do not have gun control laws.
And we talk about how horrible Africa is. Look at Africa. They got most of it is white. It's only got
and
a
you're
little
only
bit of
talking
yellow.
school shootings, which have killed 74 people this year. Okay?
Look at Finland and Sweden and Norway.
You are literally reacting exactly like the media and the left, the left politicians want you to. They want you to be that fearful. They want you to be afraid that lightning is going to strike you too. And so we're dragging
this map don't mean nothing. And this map don't mean nothing to y'all.
At this point, with absolutely no knowledge of where it comes from, no idea of anything other than you throw on a map with colors on it, no, it doesn't mean anything. It just means that this is a complete friggin' lie, because we haven't had 200 plus school shootings this year. Are you talking in total? Are you talking about since 1840 when we had our first one?
My screen is frozen. I can't do nothing.
You're dragging. Yeah, you're lagging.
I'm frozen up. I'm freezing. I'm having problems. I moved into my new apartment, and I think it's because I'm too far from my Wi-Fi router. I'm gonna have to do something about it.
Oh, that should be right next to you or within 30 feet.
It's way in the living room, and this is a nice size apartment, so my room is big too, and I'm on the other side of the room, so I really think that's what it is.
We need to get you a
ethereal cord. I have a short one, but it's not gonna reach this far.
Well, if you get a repeater, You can normally open. There he goes.
Fuck this wind. This sucker's feeling slow.
This system is really freaking pissing me off. I might have to do something. What were you saying, Doc? What should I get?
He said a repeater. I was thinking a Wi-Fi booster. Get you
So-
like a Wi-Fi. What do they call those? Wi-Fi extenders, Wi-Fi boosters. You can get one in your house.
And I can put it,
yeah,
put it in my
extend-
room.
Yeah, that way it carry
much
the
do those
signal better
cost?
through the house. Man, you can actually go on Amazon, bro, and get one for like $20-$30, man. They're really not that
I
expensive.
hear you.
Do they have them at Best Buy?
Yeah, they sell them at Best Buy, but you're gonna pay more money. I mean, you could go get a really nice one for probably about, $100 or better. You can go to Walmart or Best Buy and buy one. I think it's called a Wi-Fi booster, or I forget the
It's an extender.
Wi-Fi extender. Yeah, you can just go.
I
like-
actually sent you a link for one for about $20 on Amazon
Yeah, that's what I
about
was
a year
just telling.
about a year ago when you first had problems.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it now because this apartment is big and
Well, the one that I got, if I run across it or if I can find a link to send it to you, it actually has a Cat 5 that you plug into it as well. And it doesn't seem to have as much latency problems plugged in, even though it's a wireless router or wireless extender. I seem to get better transfer speeds on it.
Yeah, because I need to get one for my place too. Fuck, dude, this weather sucks up here, man. It's all hot down there at the house, and come up here to Missouri, and it's fucking freezing, wind blowing.
Well, there's a reason it's called misery.
Let me read some of this. This is from the map. Am I sharing? Let me share that map I was showing a second ago. I think this is very telling. It says school shootings are a form of violence School shootings are a form of gun violence that involves an attack via firearms and takes place at an educational institution such as a primary
There
school,
we go. Old data.
secondary school, or university. While many school shootings are resolved with 0 fatalities, many others result in gun-related deaths, and some are also considered mass shootings because of the number of people injured or killed by the attack. The United States has endured hundreds more school shootings than any other country in recent years. 19 countries with the most school shootings, total incidents, January 2009, May through 2018. I guess CNN get the information. So United States 288, Mexico 8. The next one down is Mexico, 280 less. South Africa 6, Nigeria and Pakistan 4, Afghanistan 3, Brazil, Canada, and France 2, Azerbaijan, China, Estonia, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Kenya, Russia, and Turkey 1. Let me see. Let's just do gun violence.
Okay, you do know that data is both like shooters and non-active shooters, though I'm still trying to find out what non-active shooter means. I'm actually in the Center for Homeland Defense's site right now about shooting incidents in K through 12, between 1970 and 2022, which actually 2021 was pretty darn big. But we actually have, it's the active shooter thing. 2021 9, 2019 7, 2022. We were hearing all about the shootings. There was only 2 active shooter events. But then you looked at the victims. The active shooters killed a lot of people, wounded a lot. And the thing is, more people were actually killed in the late 90s. Well, then, 2022 and 2019 and 2022 were both pretty fatal. But 40% of the time, it's a student. Most of them are in the parking lot, not the ones we hear about. A lot of them they run. Almost 30% of them get away. I need to send this graph page to you.
Send it to me through the Facebook. This one right here, it says gun violence by country 2023. Now, this doesn't look as bad as the school shooting map, but it's still...
your school shooting map that you showed, you need to show provenance of that, because that's not... That is so inaccurate.
I don't know.
I do.
So this one,
I've seen that map before too, though.
This one looks a bit better for us, but it's still bad. Like, we're still one of the worst, but it looks like it's showing, what is this? Venezuela, Colombia. What is this? Colombia right here? Looks like Colombia and somewhere here in Central America.
Yeah, now we're looking at total gun deaths.
Yeah, this is what's gun violence by country 2023. So
that's actually a better chart than just school shootings anyway.
So it's gun deaths per 100K. So that's the deal. So what is this?
That looks a lot more accurate. I don't know why the hell Greenland's...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Greenland is...
Because it only takes a few deaths. You kill 20 people there, it's like killing 100 in another place, because their population is lower.
So much lower.
Per 100,000.
Per 100,000. So that's why that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but this...
It doesn't make sense. It's like, damn, someone went crazy, didn't they?
It's just that the population is so much smaller.
It must have been an American.
That makes sense. The population is way smaller, so that's why. So, but up in here, what is this? This is Venezuela, or is this Colombia right here?
I think the top one's Venezuela.
Yeah, and this is Brazil over here. And
Brazil's always been deadly.
And we got something in here in Central America that looks pretty bad.
Hover over it. There you go, Guatemala. If you look at the top line, move your cursor over us any country.
I don't see where it shows where the country it is.
Go down a little bit further. Scroll just a little bit so you can see the top of that list. Okay. Hover over a title for details. There you go. See each country as you hover over. There you go.
I see it now. Guatemala. That's what I thought it was. Guatemala. And this one is Honduras. So, yeah, that's Venezuela, Colombia, and that's Brazil. Just a random country right here. Afghanistan.
That's the shit I'm here to do.
That makes sense. Afghanistan right there. So, United States, Total gun deaths 37,200. Guns deaths per 100K 10.6. Homicides 12.4. Homicides per 100K 4. Suicides 23,800. Damn. Suicides per 100K is 6. Unintentional 909. Unintentional per 100K
0.27.
0.27.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about gun death when we're talking about numbers and gun deaths and all that. We haven't even talked about suicides, murder suicides, just crazy freaking candy flipping people.
So this is interesting right here. So this shows those. So it says top 10 countries with the most total gun deaths, and we're not number one. We're number 2. Brazil is number 1. So that's
But if I remember 2016, they had some military versus cartels action going on.
okay. So maybe that year was an anomaly, but that's still interesting to me. So top 3 is Brazil, United States, and India. Mexico at number 4, Colombia at 5, Venezuela at 6, Philippines. Wow, that's interesting. At number 7, Guatemala at 8. That's not surprising. Russia at 9, and Afghanistan at number 10. I wonder how much Afghanistan has gone down now since the United States is not over there.
Yeah. Well, gun deaths have gone down, but beheadings and stonings have gone really up.
Look how many unintentional deaths are in India. 1,540 for the year 2016. That's a huge ass number. Unintentional.
Don't they have like earthquake or something like that?
Well, we're talking about gun deaths, so it couldn't be an earthquake.
Oh, gun. Okay, yeah. I didn't know India was much on guns. That's one of the one. I don't know a lot of the laws about India and stuff like that. Crap. I know that they're Hindu more than Muslim. I know that they're actually consider themselves and are part of the East, although feature and look wise, they look more similar to many of the Middle Eastern. I know that was the gateway. I know India was the gateway to the East for many, many years. Hi, Rory. Have you come to join us on the show?
Let me read this right quick. It says, gun violence is an ongoing concern all over the world, even in the world's safest countries, even in fact in countries where guns are illegal, though admittedly to a lesser degree. The rate of gun deaths per country varies widely from 39.2 per 100K residents in El Salvador to roughly 1 in a million in Singapore, and is heavily influenced by the rate of civilian gun ownership per country and by each nation's gun control laws. Gun violence rates are related to rates of, I think they wanted to say related to rates of violent crime, but do not necessarily move in parallel. Gun violence is particularly prevalent in many South American and Central American countries due to either civil unrest or drug cartels, which battle both law enforcement agencies and one another. It is also high in several developing countries in Africa and the Middle East. Finally, gun violence is considered an epidemic in the United States, which leads the world in mass shootings and has the highest level of gun violence of any developed country by a wide margin. My point in showing this is just like, the United States, we have a problem, and we can't just keep acting like it's not real. I got a bunch of clips in here that I wanted to play, but I'm not gonna play them because it's already 2:14. I gotta work tomorrow, and I've been having technical difficulties and shit. I'm gonna try to hopefully have time to make sure this shit is working better tomorrow because I want to play these clips. This is especially there's a clip from, is it Uganda? One of these African countries. The guy did a speech, and I really want to play clips from that speech. Let me see, because it was all down my timeline. Maybe we'll play this on our way out if it'll let me play it. Because I'm not gonna stay long.
Hey man, go look on when you get off the air tonight, man. Check out Amazon and just type in wireless Wi-Fi extender. They got some that range anywhere between $23 all the way up to like $129. But they got one that I was just looking at for like 39 bucks, and it's wireless, or you can plug it into your Wi-Fi, your actual Wi-Fi router, and it works up to 9,800 square. It supports up to a 9,800 square foot house and up to 60 devices at one time.
It sounds interesting. I can't spend no money right now. I just spent a shit ton of money to move in this damn apartment. And I'm finna pay rent and all these damn bills. Can I play this? It's not playing. Let me see. Is this other one? There's one other one that was good too that I wanted to play. Let's see if it'll play this one. This one? Nope. Can't get this one playing either. Oh well. I'm gonna wrap it, y'all, because I'm frustrated as hell. Got anything I want to say?
Man, pretty much good, man. Sorry for joining late. I'm out here working.
I appreciate any time you give, bro. I appreciate any time you give. I really do.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank y'all. But I'm gonna jump off myself, man. I'm finna start blowing this tank down. I just finished filling, so I can get out of here. It's cold as fuck. I'm ready to get back in this warm truck.
Well, stay warm, bro, and be safe, man.
All right, man. We'll do. Y'all too.
All right.
All right.
Peace. Yeah, Doc. So we lost Pat. Came on too late. It's hard to keep Pat when I come on late. Can you hear me? 'Cause my mic just did some crazy shit. But yeah, the damn gun argument. I'm gonna always be on the other side of that gun argument, man.
I'm still here.
The United States, we have a problem, and I agree with y'all that it's people and
Emotional.
the hearts of men, but you exacerbate that by giving a shit ton of fucking guns. I mean, it's simple. If fewer guns, fewer gun deaths.
That's not true.
But that's not the way it's going to happen, because the gun deaths you're talking about,
They've studied this many times, and they know that that's not going to do anything. All that is political theater to try to put up, like pretty much get the control over the people.
well,
That's,
see,
I mean,
this person was under mental care, and the problem is we got a twofold problem there. Technically, that person should have, the person that they were talking to should have reported the fact that they were dangerous. But at the same time, on the other side of that, I have to admit that if your therapist starts reporting you, less people are going to start going for mental health issues.
Exactly.
Less people are going to go for help. And I'm going to stop there.
And am I gonna turn myself in and be like, man, I'm really having mental health issues. I'm thinking about going to shoot up a school. Y'all should come take my guns away and lock me up or something. It's just not logical. You're gonna have to take those guns by force.
Yep. And the same those people that's gonna try that might try to take my gun. That's who's gonna get it.
They're not gonna try to take your gun, Pat. You're not gonna be one of the ones. You're a good guy. You just want to defend yourself. But you got people out here who want to just hurt people, man.
It wouldn't change if they didn't have guns, because they still have that thought, that feeling in their mind. They want to hurt somebody. There's like way many other ways to do similar damage, and you don't have to have you don't have to have a gun, bro.
Well, I feel you on that because that's why I don't have guns. Because
And Anarchist Cookbook is easy online. If you don't got guns, if I don't want to kill a bunch of people, you know it's going to be a lot easier.
well,
Build a
look.
bomb.
Well, you know
Pipe-
what? I'm
Pipe
glad you
bombs
said
are
this.
easy.
I'm glad you said that because I really kind of wanted to bring that up in the show. I was thinking about it when we were texting back and forth because you know that there's certain materials that are restricted access to certain things that you can't buy at the same time or because they know that you can use those materials to build bombs. So, but you guys are okay with them restricting people's abilities to make bombs, right? But y'all not okay with them restricting them to have the ability to freaking buy all these damn fucking
Well,
weapons.
everything
Are
you've
bombs
said,
built?
the
Are bombs
problem.
built to protect people?
That's a good point.
They're
That,
offensive and only offensive. Plus, all the things that you've talked about being a problem, bump stocks, high automatic, all that's already illegal. The people that get that and do that, they're criminals. We're not defending them. You don't
well,
need a fully automatic weapon to hunt Bambi.
well,
Bump
they
stocks are actually bad because of the nature of the way they fire, they actually reduce accuracy for rate of fire more so than fully automatic or even a 3-shot burst.
they track those materials that you use to be able to make bombs. They will come and show up at your house. Like they will,
Depends on how much you buy at one time.
they're proactive with that. So
Depends on how big you're trying to make one.
how come
I'm
they're not
sorry.
proactive with the guns?
I could make a couple of dozen pipe bombs real easy and no one would ever even notice. It would never show up on the radar or anything like. I shouldn't be saying this, should I?
As long as you don't do it, actually, you probably be okay.
Let's say theoretically, I've read the anarchist cookbook, so I know the recipes. I understand. That's why I'm saying this.
So,
but seriously, matter of fact, I'm not going to go as far as saying how easy the materials are by saying it, but literally, for about $50 to $100, I could get everything I needed to build pipe bombs, and none of it go off on the radar, none of it be noticed. Matter of fact, a whole lot more if you start spreading purchases around, because there's so many stores to get it that only track you if you buy more than a certain amount.
and you know what that makes me think of? That show Breaking Bad, and then when they were talking about the meth and the materials that they needed to do that, and how he had to go from like maybe to another state or whatever because he could only buy a certain amount within a certain area because then it gets triggered. So that's kind of like that too. So, but then that's a good example because then, that's tracked so heavily, and these damn bump stocks or these damn magazines that hold so many damn bullets, all of this stuff needs to be tracked as heavily as that.
Hey, the 9mm that I've got that I personally own is a collectible firearm and still has the two collectible magazines. I have 3 14-shot magazines because they are part of them as a collector's firearm. And they are legal because I am a collector.
And that's just the way around the laws, because I know that a lot of the gun shops are like that. The places where you go buy the guns, it's like it's supposedly be for collectors, and you got trading going on and all of that. And it's just ways around the laws. It's really just
Well, see, in certain states, you can go into a gun show,
the gun shows. Yes.
pass their stuff, and be absolutely okay, get it, walk out. And because of the laws in that state, you can sell it to someone right there in the parking lot, and it never have to be a registered transaction. And yeah, I don't have a problem with registering weapons and stuff like that. Better yet, I think firearms should be considered like a car. Anybody can have one,
Just
but
register.
you have to no, not even registered, but you have to prove minimum proficiency and knowledge of the law before you can take one out on the street.
Mm-hmm. And y'all know that we are the providers for most of the weapons.
I'm okay with that. With all of our arguments about gun control, I'm okay with it being a privilege as much as a right. Because driving a car is not a right; it is a privilege.
Because you can damage, you can hurt people, so you need to be able to freaking handle it in a proper way.
I could even go so far as saying, "Hey, you have a permit that says you can carry, or that you have proficiency with pistols, rifles, shotguns, AKs, grenades, what the hell ever."
Yeah. So you know that a lot of the weapons that they use in the cartels
we
and
don't we don't
right
need
across the border.
we don't need just an armed public. We need an armed public. We do. But we need a trained public.
I agree.
It says for purpose of militia. And that's not just home defense. That is defense against overreaches of government and criminal organizations and things that the government doesn't themselves control.
Yeah.
So I'm not against training. I am against gun control, because when you take all the guns away from your citizens, that is the first steps of every single bad thing that's freaking happened throughout most of history. And again, if we don't learn from our history, we are going to be subject to it again.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna have to wrap it. I'm gonna try to wind down a little bit and go to sleep because I gotta work a double tomorrow. But I will be on the show tomorrow, whatever time I get out of there. And hopefully I can get these technical difficulties worked out. I don't have money to go buy anything right now because I just spent a bunch of money. I have the money, but I don't want to spend it. I'm finna go into frugal mode for a couple of months. But anyways,
just remember what's an asset and what's a liability.
Yeah. Well, peace and love. Thank y'all for joining. This was my first show from a new spot. I got a little office space here. It's really nice. I'm probably gonna not use the green screen much. I'm gonna put a bookshelf. I don't have a bookshelf yet. I want to buy a bookshelf and put it behind me and just put some books there, and that'll be my background.
You need some muffling toward what you're talking to.
It's because does it sound more? The sound is different here, isn't it?
You're getting just a little bit coming from a producer point of view. You've got a little bit of backsplash. You're speaking against something that's a hard,
Yeah.
and it's coming back at you, and you're getting a little bit of reverb from your
Yeah.
mic. So you need to put some sound baffling on the wall, or maybe like a T-shirt
Yeah.
or
Because
something,
this little
or
space right here is causing a little acoustic
or
thing
put a
going
little thing that's behind your mic like that, so you're talking toward it.
Yeah, I could put it in a different spot, like, and kind of talking to the mic. That might help. Yeah. So this was the first day for the setup. So I'm gonna
That
figure out.
actually sounds a little better now that you've got that end pointed towards you. That sounds a little bit better because it's picking you up primary, and I'm not hearing as much of the bounce off the wall.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna figure out because this is a whole new setup right here.
No, yeah, you sound a lot better.
Okay. I'll do it like this. Anyways, man, peace and love. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for listening. We'll be back tomorrow, man. I hate that it was a short show. I like to spend more time, but I'm just having the technical difficulties and I couldn't play the videos I wanted to play. So anyways, thank y'all for joining, man. I gotta get some rest.
All right. Peace. Wow.
All right, man. Peace and love. Peace.